I was watching a talk given by Andrew Ng, who's one of the main contributors and most important figures now in AI and ML. He is the founder of Coursera. He has given some of the best courses in machine learning on Coursera, part of deeplearning.ai. His course on Stanford is one of the go-to courses for machine learning. And during a talk he gave recently, a few weeks back, on MLOps, called From Model-Centric to Data-Centric AI, he opined that MLOps will eventually become verticalized. What does that mean? That means MLOps will not remain a unified discipline applicable across multiple industries and specialties. That there will be, there'll be a special MLOps for inventory and demand forecasting. There will be a completely different type of MLOps for fraud detection, and there will be yet another MLOps for people who are working in the medical industry, and it'll become, it will break up into a whole bunch of separate disciplines. That hit really too close to home for me, because as I was studying MLOps over the last 2 or 3 years, I had realized only recently, actually a few weeks before I attended Andrew Ng's talks, that a lot of the stuff that was the day in, day out of an engineering team that's responsible for retail merchandising and demand forecasting pipeline was effectively MLOps. But we didn't call it MLOps, we called it DevOps, or we called it MerchOps. And the reason we did so was that the tool set was radically different. It was based on highly specialized demand forecasting and inventory planning tools. Typically, they were proprietary. They were not open source. Typically, they were on premises. They were not cloud-based. And the terminology and the jargon was very different, but the mindset was exactly the mindset that an ML ops team should have. And so the fact that we didn't call it ML ops because it used such a highly specific technical stack, tech stack, and highly specific terminology and highly specific jargon was the reason why people didn't think of it as ML ops. But then you flip that proposition on its head. Should we be thinking about it as MLOps at all, given just how specific that tech stack and that terminology and those considerations are? And so that's where Andrew Ng's comment hit really, really close to home, because maybe he's right. Maybe we're never going to be able to have like one general MLOps discipline across everything. But then I think about it, no. We shouldn't limit ourselves. That, maybe it might be like immediate in the efficient in the short term to just like leave. Demand forecasting teams are very comfortable doing it their way, so have demand ops or merch ops or whatever, and fraud detection teams are comfortable with their methods, and it's better to just take the existing tool sets, which are all based on cloud containers, because it's just so much easier to spin up pipelines with cloud containers, and to let each discipline evolve on its own, become verticalized. But we would be a lot poorer for that, because people won't be able to cross learn. Skills won't be transferable. There might be things that a fraud detection team could teach a demand forecasting team. There might be things that a fraud detection team could teach a team that's working in applying ML to the medical field. The regulatory and ethical concerns that a financial or a mortgage-related ML ops team knows about could be very well applicable to demand forecasting or to inventory. They're like, why would demand forecasting have any ethical considerations? Well, it might. And we can learn a lot from the people who already have to take into account ethics considerations because they're working in finance or in real estate or in fraud. So I think, an answer to Andrew Ng's comment that ML ops will eventually become verticalized, that might be a good idea in the short term. In the long term, I don't think so, and it shouldn't. But predictions about the future, as somebody who works in data science and demand forecasting, are always tenuous, so we'll wait and see.